baby's mine. But you can go do your thing.
What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pubstomp, a podcast about games, TV shows, movies, and pop culture in general. Every episode, we discuss topics that we find interesting. Come join our shenanigans.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Pubstomp Podcast. Today, we're going to be continuing on the Sandman, the second arc. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently this time around because Mexy Bitties, our next, series is going to be airing before this episode launches. So I guess by the time you get this, it'll be ready for you on the YouTube. And without further ado, here we have Mexy.
Yo.
And myself, Trigoman. Again, we're missing Tyler. Tyler, we miss you. Come back.
He's
got some stuff. Yeah, it's okay. He'll come back next week, maybe.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Cool. And then I guess before we get into the Sandman, I guess last week we talked about the election and how things were still up in the air. But now the dust has settled, and Biden is now the president-elect. There's still some shenanigans going on, but as far as we know, January 21st? Is that when he becomes?
Something like that.
Hopefully there's a peaceful transition of power.
About that.
About that.
Anyway.
There's a few lawsuits that need to get checked out, some stuff. But anyway, that ties that bow on that discussion. You guys can go check it out if you need more information. We're not professionals. Let's carry on. Cool. Well, what's up, Mexy?
Yo. So, what'd you think about these chapters of the Sandman?
They're pretty good. It's a little bit different than the previous arc, but yeah, I liked how it started, and I would say like the later 6 episodes or 5 episodes were kind of confusing to me, but we can probably discuss them more once we get into those specifically. But I did enjoy. I liked the beginning, like for the first 3 episodes, a lot.
Yeah,
and the last 5 were a little bit confusing.
I agree. The first 3 were probably my favorite, even though they had nothing to do with the actual arc itself. But it was a good arc. It got a little dark in the middle, right? But
yeah,
and then the ending was like, what? But overall, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. So, what'd you have in mind on what was confusing for you?
So the I guess the meat of this arc follows I forget the lady's name.
Rose.
Yeah, Rose. That's right, Rose. It follows Rose. Like she and her mom get summoned by some lady in England or something like that, somewhere overseas, and they get taken to her. And Rose keeps going in and out of dreams. And then she sees a dream lord, and then somehow she's like an anomaly in this universe, and I have no idea what that means or why it's happening. And it's like that's the stuff that's where like I have problems with like sci-fi. They can just make up anything and it has to make sense. Like that's where I was starting. That's my first question. It's like, what the hell was like? Well, They don't call it an anomaly. What do they call it? Like a
dream vortex.
A vortex. That's right.
So basically, the dream vortex is just a thing that exists, right? And like every eon or something like that, I forget what time period they use, one that pops up, and it tends to be a living thing. And then Rose just happened to be it.
Yeah, and they explain at the end what, like that what you're saying, like it happens. There's one every n amount of years, and the only way to get rid of that. Did they say what happens when there's a vortex?
Yeah, so in one of I want to say the second to last episode, they explain that because she was in the same house as all her roommates, right? And they all started falling asleep. All the dreams started like intermingling with each
Mm,
other, and that's
that's
what
what was
started.
happening. Okay.
Yeah. So because she was around, all the dreams started intermingling, and then like basically started becoming nightmares because they didn't understand what was happening, right? And then they all
Yeah.
wake up really upset. That's so basically what happened was that the longer she was alive, the more it would spread out like her zone of um what do you call it? Of affecting or zone of fuck your
Influence. I don't
dreams.
know. Yeah. 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 Okay, that actually makes sense. I did miss that because in some episode Rose travels back to the U.S. to find her brother or something that they send her to find her long lost brother. I have no idea what happened to that kid or why he wasn't there, but she stays at some boarding house or something like that, from what I remember.
No,
Um,
oh, she stays at a house. It's just like
at
a
a house.
regular. Yeah,
Yeah,
she went.
house, but
Her parents got divorced, and her brother went with the
that's
dad.
right.
The
Yeah,
dad passes away, and then he goes to live with relatives who treat him bad,
yeah.
and
But her
then
thing was to go, yeah, her thing was to go find them, right? So,
yeah,
and she meets several characters in this house, and they're all like dreaming, and yeah, that makes sense. Like she's a wrinkle in time. She's like messing things up for everybody else. That
yeah.
makes sense.
There were people in the house really had no bearing for this arc other than hey, we exist and
Yeah, what was the guy's name? Damn it, I'm blanking on the guy's name.
the English
Gilbert.
guy.
Gilbert.
Silver, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's a cool character. He did have meaning for existing in the arc,
yeah.
but he was pretty cool. I liked his character.
It was very interesting too because like you know how they're talking about how Dream Vortex has the power to like bring dreams towards them and that's why it causes crazy stuff to happen.
Hmm.
Like she starts like somehow making all the different dreams kind of be attracted to her, the ones that escaped from the dreaming, right? Like the
Yeah,
Corinthian, Hob, and or Glob and Brood or whatever,
yeah.
and Fiddler's Green. Like they all somehow came to her, which is kind of cool. So
Their
they were
dreams
like
came to her.
attracted, yeah, like subtly they were attracted to be in the same area that she was in or going to. So it was
Yeah,
kind of that was interesting.
yeah, yeah. So that was my biggest question is like why. And I mean now it makes sense that like the wrinkle in time she needs to, because throughout the arc, the Sandman is trying to find her, right? Trying to
Well,
find her
he knew where
in
he
the dream
was.
world.
No, he
Yeah,
knew where she was. Thing was, he was just giving her time because eventually he knew he was gonna have to kill her. So it's kind of just letting it take its course. Because
yeah.
he
But
had,
at some point, like he was saying that there whoever designed the whatever. Like that's okay. That's another question. So in the dream world, the Sandman is trying to get to her, but he's like going through some labyrinth or some kind of like
no, no,
um.
no, 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 no.
Am I confusing something?
You're confusing this. Okay, so what Morpheus was doing was he didn't really care about the vortex because he was more concerned about the dreams or the inhabitants of the dreaming that left the dreaming, which
Yeah,
was Glob and Brute. Um, the Corinthian and Fiddler's Green, right?
yeah,
And so he finds out that Hob and okay, so he he's trying to figure out more about who Rose is, and then he asked the bird, I forget what the bird's name is. I think it's Matthew for some reason.
yeah,
Uh he asked the raven to grab a picture of the brother that she's looking for, and like since he's the lord of the dreaming, anybody who's connected to the dreaming he can locate, right?
yeah, yeah.
So when he looks at the picture of the boy, he notices that he can't find him. So he realizes that somebody blocked this boy from being connected
Oh,
to the
that's right.
dreamer,
That's right. Yeah,
and the labyrinth that he's like traversing through were like the blockades that Hob and Brute had created so that they wouldn't be found, and that's the connection there.
yeah, yeah. That's the right. The labyrinth was because the kid was being treated so poorly that he was
Well,
he
the
he
kid
was
was
dreaming,
basic.
right? Like
The
making
kid
up
was
an imagination.
the the kid was basically it's created like its own world of the dreaming, so that they were disconnected from the one that Morpheus had domain over, and that's
Right.
how those Glob and Brute were surviving.
Right, because in his dreaming world, in the dreaming world of the kid, like they made that world, and in that
Mhm.
world, was the kid the Sandman as well, or was the kid?
Nah, the kid was
That's
just a kid, but
mhm.
there was another hero like that had died that they brought into that world. That was the Sandman. It was
Yeah,
the Sandman in real life, but he died, and then they made him think that he was the Sandman of this world,
right, right, right. Yeah,
and
and
then
and
he had a
Sandman
wife.
was like, yeah, Sandman was like super upset about that. It's like,
Hmm.
you're the Sandman, wah, ha, ha, ha.
And then poof, he dead.
And then I mean, he was already dead, so like,
Yeah, he called him an aberration or something. He's like,
yeah,
"You're not supposed to be alive, big on pleb." And
and
then,
then gone. Yep.
and then the
Yeah,
lady was upset.
and that
His
okay,
wife.
that okay. The thing that okay, another confusing thing. That lady was
Mhm.
alive, but in the dream world. And then once Sandman shattered that fake dream world,
Huh?
she went back to life. That was confusing
She
to
was
me.
alive, and then she was like transported into the dream world,
And
into
the
that world. Hmm.
and the kid as well, because the kid was also
No, the kid was actually sustaining that world, so he was alive. And when he would wake up, so what they did was kind of like partition a space of the dreaming to them. Okay.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead. It's just it gets ridiculous to me. It's like, oh my goodness. Okay, anyway, I'll let you keep going.
Yeah. So they like partitioned the space of the dreaming to be for themselves, and they were the lords of that area.
Yeah.
And because the woman was so sad that her husband died, I think he committed suicide or something. Um, she also got transported to the dreaming, and then when Morpheus finds her, he's like, "You're still alive, but you got a baby that was made in the dreaming, so you gotta like the baby's mine, but you can go do your thing."
Yeah, yeah, I thought that was weird too. It's like, give me the kid. It's like, what? You can't take a baby. I guess you
It,
can.
he kind of explains it, right? Because anything that's created in the dreaming, right? And since she was baking that bun in the oven for 7 years, apparently,
Hmm.
like that baby was a dream baby,
Hmm.
and that's that.
Okay.
Kind of,
Yeah,
it was like touched by the dreaming, I guess.
I
That was
suppose
a yeah.
that whole interaction there with the fake dreaming world was a little bit that was a little bit hard to follow.
I 100% agree. I actually listened to it twice because I was confused by this. I was like, wait, what is happening? Who
Yeah.
are these people? Why did this? Why does it sound like a commercial 20 times over?
Yeah, 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 exactly. Because every time
uh,
that the Sandman came into like the voice, it sounded like super like fake, I guess.
mhm. I like
So,
the I like the tiebacks that they did, right? Because like you mentioned that some lady brought him over, but that lady was the one from the first book who was asleep for 70 years, who
oh,
had a baby.
oh, was that her? Okay.
Yeah, that was her.
Oh, and that's how she got pregnant. And we were
Uh-huh.
thinking like other things, right? We were thinking like, oh, she probably somebody else went in there and did the nasty, but actually
No,
she
that's
got pregnant.
exactly what happened.
Wait, well, what?
Some the desire raped her.
Oh, well, that's new. Okay, that's news to me.
So
So
that
then
was
that's
part of, huh?
okay. No, okay. Never mind. Carry on.
Oh, like suddenly this story is entirely different to you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like what?
So okay. So basically, what ended up happening there was Desire raped, which is one of the. If you watch Mexy Bitties, I'll go over what some more of the scenario, right? But
Yeah,
basically, Desire raped Unity, and then that was his plan to create the Dream Vortex, so that Morpheus would have to kill her, right? And then it's kind of weird.
yeah, but that wasn't the okay. Yeah, I
Well,
guess we'll go on
they
to the look at
explained it
the.
in the final arc.
Mhm.
They talk about how there's certain rules, right? Like Morpheus can't just kill humans, but he's allowed to kill humans as long as they were like dream vortexes, right?
Yeah,
Um, in the Tales of the Sand, you find out that Endless can't fall in love with humans, right? Or living beings, not just humans.
yeah,
And that's why like Nada's civilization fell apart, right? All like bad things happen if you don't follow the rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of those rules as well was that um the endless can't kill each other, right? So Morpheus can't kill Desire. So the whole plan was that since he raped Unity, right, and the baby Rose was basically half endless, half human. So
Yeah.
if he killed Rose, he would have been breaking the rules because he killed one of his endless brothers, sisters, right?
Yeah, but I thought we were talking about the lady that was pregnant, that was in the alternate dream world.
Now
Like,
that was a whole different lady.
that's a whole different thing. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's a whole different thing.
Okay, okay, I gotcha. So that wasn't the
Yeah,
same woman, right? The one they were
nah, so,
talking to.
nah. So Unity
Okay.
was a lady that was falling asleep for like 70
Yes, yes.
years.
So yeah, I got that. That's the grandma, right? The
Yeah.
grandma was the lady. I remember when the grandma basically what's it called? Rose's grandma is the lady that
Mm-hmm.
was asleep. Yeah. So I got that part. I thought it was talking
Okay.
about the other lady. I was like, oh,
Nah,
what?
nah, nah,
No,
nah,
no,
nah.
I did understand that part. Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the confusing bits. So I mean, I guess going to what you said, like the favorite episodes in this
Mm-hmm.
arc. I guess they were the ones not in the arc. For me, the one that was my favorite was the one where he gives this guy like basically infinite life, like his sister
Yeah,
death.
Men of Good Fortune.
Yeah, yeah, Man of Good Fortune. That's the episode name. Yeah,
Yeah, that was my
because
favorite one too.
yeah, because I guess the premise is they meet a guy in some bar, and then he's saying that like I don't want to die. I'm never gonna die. And it's like okay, why is that so? And then I guess bottom line, they meet every 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Sandman and this guy meet every 100 years, and then he's basically progress report checking on each other. So it's kind of cool to see how it progresses over time and like what's happening in history. And
Mm-hmm.
it's weird, right? Because people want immortality, but that also means that everybody that you love will die
Mm-hmm.
before, like, and you'll have to keep on going. And
And he touches on that too.
yeah, yeah. So
Like he's like Hobbs' son, that's the guy's name. Hobbs, he has a family at one point,
mhm.
and then they die, and then like bad things start happening to him, and he's just like, man, like I've had a really rough 100 years. And like Dream is so sure that at that point he's gonna be like, all right, so you ready to, die? And he's like, nope, still got more left to live.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, which is strange because he also, like, that character got caught, and people realized that he wouldn't die, so they drowned him. So he was
Mm-hmm.
drowned for like
I thought he was a
70
witch.
years. Yeah, I thought he was a witch. So so that's gotta suck. But
and, and then you see like Constantine's like uh predecessor, right? His family
mhm.
line, like thinking, "Oh, you're the devil," and things like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that was interesting to see. I also like the bit with William Shakespeare in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that exact same thing because they do like a tie-in because that'll come up later because I already listened to the next arc, but that'll come up later because I like
Mm-hmm.
how they add more stuff in the story. It's kind of like time travel, where he's
Mm-hmm.
like the Sandman is embedding his like I guess meddling with stuff, and then it'll come out later. So
Yeah. Well, he basically sells his soul to him. He said he'd
yep,
give up his soul, and he's like, "Okay, okay,
okay,
kind
maybe
of
that's why.
interesting."
Yeah. So that was my favorite episode. I don't know if that was one of yours as well.
I liked that one, and I really, really liked the sound of her rings.
That was a good one too.
And it's just kind of like it's a very soothing episode in my opinion, right? Because
Mm.
you're they're talking about death. You hear all these things that are happening to people that are dying throughout the episode, right? Ending with like a little kid dying, right? Like basically a baby dying. And then you're like, okay, like you kind of come into terms like, huh? Because like Morpheus is talking about how like he doesn't understand why people are afraid of death and but are okay with dreaming when they're the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So that was, I don't know. I really dug that episode. Just like the tone of the episode, everything was good.
Yeah, I like the character death. I think her, like, I don't know if it's because of it's the audio version, but they made her sound pretty like relaxed. Like when you think of death, you think of like the Green Reaper,
Hmm.
but she's more like I guess playful in a way. Like I
Youthful.
don't know, yeah, youthful. And it's
Because,
like
like,
it's
sorry.
just like when she was interacting with like people, was like, "It's your time to go now." Like I understand, yes, this is the but it's time. Follow me. And yeah, I think it's a pretty good character, and she is always like giving Sandman a hard time. So
Yeah. It's also funny because, like, he called, like, technically it's his older sister, but she's younger, right? Like,
right,
so that was interesting. I also, you could see she kind of feels sad for these people too, though. Because, like, when one of them dies, she's just like, yeah, like, I understand. Like, she was very, like,
the comedian,
yeah, or she was
yeah,
just, like, very understanding of why this person would be upset about dying now.
right,
So that was a super good episode. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty good. Um, it's kind of the opposite of living forever. This is like your time has come. Uh,
yeah,
and that's also an interesting one because is the Sandman where he's like almost like pouting that he has nothing to do. It's like, oh, I'm bored, because in the previous arc he was trying to find his
got a
gear,
purpose.
and then like he had a purpose. Now he's like, I don't know, I'm so sad, I have nothing to do. Like, and then death comes like, shut up, like go figure something out.
Just
Like,
your
stop being,
face.
yeah, stop being a baby.
Yeah, that was
So
probably my favorite ones. I don't really have a favorite one in the arc itself. I guess if I would have to pick one, I guess the serial killer one, the serial killer convention was.
the convention, yeah, that was a little bit weird, but it took me a little bit of time to realize it was a serial killer convention. And then I was like, oh, this is weird.
Right. And I think that's the realization that you're supposed to have. Like, oh, every time they mentioned serial, they meant serial killer.
Yeah,
Because they kept saying, like, oh, it's a serial convention. Like, what?
yeah. Are they calling like farmers at some point too, or like something like that? But
Right. Because of cereal, right? Because
yeah, yeah.
you make. So, I don't know. It was a really good episode. It wasn't, I wouldn't know. It wasn't a really good episode.
No, I mean it was because like
It was
that's,
dark.
yeah, I guess it was dark. It's not a happy episode by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a good episode. Uh, and is that the same episode where the Sandman confronts like the Corinthian?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody sees his eyes. And, like, then he curses everybody with bad dreams.
yeah. So I mean, how is that not cool? That's pretty badass.
This
It is dark. It is dark.
it's super dark. I think this arc was super confusing, which is something that I didn't really enjoy. Like, you have to pay a lot of attention. Whereas the way the first three chapters are, like, this is this story and it ends here. Okay, it makes sense. This is this story and it ends here. Okay, makes sense. This is this story and it ends here. And then you get thrown into, like, there's all these stories that are interconnected.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
unless you're super paying attention, you won't know
yeah,
what's happening.
yeah. You get lost because I listened to it twice because I did like get lost. I was like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. I definitely re-listened to the one with the when they're going to get Tom and Glob, or Brute, Glob and Brute, and then the serial killer convention again twice, because I was very
Mm.
confused about what was going on in that episode with, like, all the serial killers.
Yeah, yeah. I don't understand who the Corinthian is or what his,
It
or
was a
is he
nightmare.
a nightmare? Okay.
Right before that episode started, Matthew came over to report to Dreaming, right? And then Dreaming is talking about how he's shaping something, right? And
Mhm.
then Matthew asks him, like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm not sure yet. Like, it's gonna be something, but I don't know what it is yet. And so, like, it kind of gives you, like, he can create life.
Yeah.
It's from the dreaming, right? So it's the same thing. And that's why he
Okay.
undid him. It was basically like, you're not right yet.
You're not right yet. And then everybody started dreaming bad stuff.
You know, when I thought about it, like, I don't think that's that creepy, right?
Mhm.
Like, a guy with eye mouths for an eye. Maybe because I've seen too much anime. But like, I'm trying to picture that if I saw that in real life, I'd probably be creeped
You'd
out.
probably, yeah, you'd probably be like a little troubled. Upside down face. Oh,
Oh,
one day we'll do an episode on that podcast.
back tapes.
Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much. So I don't know. So that's what I liked, and what I didn't like was that you're right. It was very confusing. There's a lot going on.
Hmm?
Um, I didn't like. I don't know. I didn't dislike a lot of things. So, okay, so in the what was the story with the with Nara? Oh, I forget the name of that episode. What I didn't like was at the end they said like uh they were recounting this the I guess the elder was recounting the story, a fable to a boy, and then
Hmm.
apparently the ladies had another story. Are they gonna ever say that story? Because
I
that would
don't.
be
I don't think there is another story
yeah,
because this is granted we don't know what's coming in the future, right? But
yeah,
like,
yeah.
she's in hell, so.
Right, you know she's in hell, but it's like it's but they, like how that happened, like they counted they from the I guess the male's perspective, they share a story, and that's how it went in their eyes, and then they kind of like left it as like a hook, as like, oh, but the ladies have a different story, and they only say it in their tongue that only they speak, and it's like, okay, all right, out with it. What is the story? But I guess they don't say it.
I don't think there is a story. I think it's just there to throw you off.
Okay,
Because, like I
what
said,
did throw me off?
she's in hell,
Yep.
right? The whole
Yeah.
thing was he said, if you don't, if you don't stick around, I'm gonna curse you to hell. And then you know what? Chapter 3 of this story, you find out she's in hell. So
Yeah.
I don't understand what that was all about, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's the small things to pick up. I was like, I was just curious to see, like, hey, what is the story? And then it moves on to something else. Rose. I was like, okay, fine,
Yeah,
cool.
could have done
But
without that episode or that chapter, to be honest.
yeah, it was a lot of like roundaboutness.
I guess
Just
it explains some of the rules, right? Like you start learning about the rules that the endless have and who they are and like how they're not gods, right? They're like more like servants to the all human, not humanity, but living beings.
yeah,
Like you kind of get it, and then you introduce other characters, like the
but it's
creepy
not.
fat
It's
lady.
but they don't need like what, like 20 minutes of that.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
guess
mean,
it'd
like,
become more relevant eventually. I don't know. It was a good arc. Not my favorite. I think the
yeah,
last one had more action in it.
yeah. Comparing this arc to the last one was more straightforward. It's more like as the episodes progress, something is happening. There's not a lot of like twisting loops of like things that you have to keep in in your brain. Maybe that's less appealing to you, but at least for me, I like to keep things simple. Uh,
I like I like the callbacks. I will say that that's really cool because like they talk about how Rose was one of the friends for the people in the diner, right?
mm,
That murdered each other. So
yeah,
kind of
yeah, but
see
it's like,
close.
is it necessary to like have those tiebacks? Like, I don't know, because I missed that.
It's not
I
necessary, but it's cool, right? Like
Yeah,
lore. That's
I
all.
guess like lore. Okay. Yeah, I guess that keeps you grounded. It's the same universe because he's time traveling all over the place all the time. Like,
I don't think he's
or I
time
don't know if it's time
traveling.
travel, but it's like time is passing. Like, oh, for example, in the episode with the guy that lives forever,
Hmm.
they go all the way up to present day, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't think that counts as time traveling though.
yeah, I guess. But in terms, I guess maybe it's not time traveling, but in as the episode progress, it's in different times that is happening. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there is no such thing as present day. Uh, at least I feel like it. Like whenever, because the first arc started like really a long time ago, and it goes all the way to present day, 3 generations, and then like you go out to the second arc, and again, your some stories are at different points in time. Maybe that's the appeal factor. I don't know.
Oh, it is
Uh,
present day though.
Not not all the episodes. Like the first three are all there. No, they
Yeah.
can't be, right? Are
Well, the
they
first three
present?
take. So we got to define what present day is, right? Which is not like 2020 where we're doing this
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. It's like
Present
whatever present
day
day is like.
at that point is like in 1980 something. Because we talk about when they're doing during the war, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
It's like right before the war, and I think they're talking about World War One or World War Two, somewhere around there, right? So then 70 years pass, and then in Tales of Good or Men of Good Fortune, they mention specifically 1989.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're in present day.
Yeah, but um, Man of
Especially
Good
when you
Fortune started like the episode started not in present day, right? That's what I
right.
mean. Like the previous episode could have been like, okay, you're 1989, and then the next episode you're gonna start at like 1850, and then
Right. But they do a decent job explaining where they're at. In my opinion, anyways. I could be wrong.
if you're paying attention, yes, or if you're not paying attention, you're gonna miss it. That's what happened to me
Sure.
the first time. Like I just like totally missed the fact that they were like jumping through 100 years at a time, and I was like, what's going on?
You missed the part where I'll see you in 100 years.
Yeah, I'll see you in 100 years.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Well, I caught it the next time. I was like, oh, okay, they're going 100 years at a time. Got it.
Gotcha.
Cool. But that's it. I would say I'm looking forward to Mexy Bitties though, where you go more into details to like what exactly is happening and more like a synopsis, more like a
It's a recap of the episodes.
recap of the episodes.
Or chapters, I guess.
Yeah, chapters, episodes. Here we're just sharing our opinions.
Our opinions and thoughts. I'm excited to finish this, and then who knows when the next drop is of the book.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see that. But you know what is coming soon?
What is?
Like in the next couple weeks. Probably by the time this episode comes out, actually. Ready Player 2.
Oh, that's coming out that soon. I thought it was later.
It's coming out. When is it? November 24th.
No, it's like
not too far away. After this episode comes out.
Yep.
So we're gonna be covering that.
Yep. Nice. Well, maybe they'll do that after this or something like that after this series. But cool. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, shall we?
All right. Lead us off.
Well, guys, catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Peace. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, please give us a star, heart, or leave us a review. You can follow us on Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube at Pubstomp Podcast. That's PUBSTOMPOD cast. For more episodes, go to anchor.fm/Pubstomp. Music provided by 99 Lives. Credits are in the episode description.